Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. I know you've all have seen this already, but you know I'm going to give my spin on it. African American pastor, young guy, could be maybe like in his 30s, maybe not even that. He's up about to give a message in his congregation. And he's really monotone. He's talking like I'm talking now. He's not really getting into, he's not really hardcore at this point. And a group of young men, the camera's right on it. And a group of young men, masked men, come in and rob the congregation, according to sources, rob the pastor and the congregants of over $1 million worth of jewelry. Now, this is shocking to say the least. But at the same time, I'm not surprised because of where it took place. And I could take place anywhere. It doesn't matter. But I'm not actually very surprised because it took place in Brooklyn, New York. And Brooklyn is a very violent city. And so I'm going to get on the political part of that. But this is a tragic situation. But at the same time, even though over $1 million in jewelry was taken, I am glad that no one was shot and no one was hurt or injured. And I'm glad about that, So we want to get into this. Let's get right into this article. I'm going to read a small portion of this article and then I'm going to give you my detailed commentary on this. So let's get right into this. And the article says popular Brooklyn Bishop Lamar Whitehead has often been criticized for being too flashy because he drives expensive cars and adorns himself with jewelry, says his family and congregation were left traumatized Sunday after multiple masked gunmen entered their church and stripped them of more than $1 million worth of jewelry before fleeing the scene. And let me say this, that's crazy that according to this article, over $1 million worth of jewelry was stolen from them. Now, I can't help but wonder the size of this congregation. What was the size of this congregation? Was this a mega church? And if so, what kind of mega church? Because to take over $1 million worth of jewelry suggests some very expensive jewelry there. Over $1 million worth of jewelry. This is crazy. This is just crazy about what's taking place here. It's really bad. But I'm not going to go too far into that because I don't want to sound like I'm being judgmental. I'm an associate pastor myself. And like I said, I'm thankful to God that no one lost their lives because it could have ended up worse. But let's go on here. Whitehead, who leads the Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries, says the brazen attack caught on video made him hurt because, quote, my church is hurt. And then he says, the pastor says, the women and children that were in my church, my daughter, she's traumatized. Right now, she's still not even talking because of that experience. They had the gun in my 8-month-old's face. The women of my ministry, my wife, everybody is traumatized. Whitehead revealed to his 1.6 million followers on Instagram and Facebook in the aftermath of the attack. Information from the New York City Police Department cited by the New York Post said 3 masked gunmen burst into Whitehead's church at around 11:14 a.m. The video of the incident shows Whitehead quickly surrendering to the gunmen as they relieved him, his wife, and their congregation of their precious stones. And as I said, if you see the video and you can actually go to the article Christian Post. I couldn't find it on Breitbart or any other ones, but go to Google in the article Christian Post. .com and go to the title of the article and look up that video. You can see it. He gets on the ground and says, okay, hold it. Okay. And he just lies flat on his stomach. And can you imagine the terror of the congregation? Not so much the terror of the pastor, but the terror of the congregation. You can't. Police sources told the New York Times that more than $1 million in jewelry was stolen. As I was preaching, I seen 3 to 4 armed men come in, explained Whitehead, who said he quickly indicated to his congregants that they should get down as the gunmen entered. When I laid down on the floor and the young man came and put the gun into my back, as you all see on the video. He took my watch, my jewelry, took my bishop's ring, took my wedding band, and then took my bishop's cross. And then I had my other chains underneath my shirt. all this jewelry this man has on him was going on, and he tapped my back and ripped my collar off just to get to my jewelry. I'm going to stop right there. You guys, like I said, you guys can read the rest of that article on your own free time. But this is a terrible situation. But thankfully, once again, no one lost their lives. And let me say this right off the bat. Let's get into what I would consider to be using proper judgment in a situation like this. I don't want to give away too much of it, but I'll say this. After reading the entire article, the pastor was a former gang member, and he was out in the streets before and affiliated with different individuals on the street. So he was a former street person, okay, and was involved in crime. Then he came to the Lord, gave his life to God, and began to pastor and so forth. But according to this article, he's known for someone who flashes his jewelry around. Let me, as an associate pastor, and as just an individual, but as an associate pastor, it is imperative for leaders of any congregation to use good judgment. Now, before I go any further than this, as I said, this is not a judgment call. I'm not condemning the pastor. What I'm trying to say is that as leaders in any particular situation should use good judgment. In a situation like this, where you were from the streets and you were involved in all kinds of crime, and then you convert to God, okay, it more than likely would not have been a good idea to wear all this jewelry on you. He had, it was a big gold chain on his chest, I think, gold rings. You wearing all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not judging his motives and anything like that. I'm not into judging his motives. I'm talking about using proper judgment. I'm not judging the motives of his heart. But if you're wearing all this kind of stuff, what do you think in an area like Brooklyn, New York, where the crime level is high? Why would you do that? Why would you wear this kind of material on you while you're preaching? You don't need to wear that kind of material to bring the people into the body of Christ. You just don't. And I'm speaking as a minister. You don't need to use all of that. You don't need to have this bling blinging on you to bring people in or to witness to them. Okay, especially to young brothers who are out in the streets, gangbangers. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You have to use proper judgment. You have to use proper judgment in a situation like this, because this could have ended up a whole lot worse. And like I said, I don't want to give away too much of this. You guys can read the rest of the article, and he has some words to say in reference to, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say it. Later on in the article, I think in a Facebook post or an Instagram post, he stated, and I'm paraphrasing his words, he stated to the guys that he said, I know you guys are watching this. And in his posting, it suggests to me that he knows these guys who robbed him, even though they have on masks. You're saying on the video, I know you guys know, you know who you are. And I know we know who you are. So what are you saying to these masked gunmen? You're putting yourself in the congregation in further danger. You should be delivered from that mentality. You should be delivered from that. Just saying, man, you got to use proper judgment in situations like that. You don't want to attract bad attention to yourself, especially when you have come from that lifestyle. You want to get away from that lifestyle as far as you can. What I mean by get away from it, I'm talking about image-wise. I'm not talking about don't talk to the people, because clearly you once was out there. Now God has saved you. Christ has saved you. And now you should be trying to witness to them. But you don't have to witness to them blinging. That's not how you witness to them. You're pulling them in through all the jewelry. You're not pulling them in through the gospel, the way I see it. So you're putting yourself and the congregation in a very dangerous situation. You opening them up to what has obviously happened here. Now, I don't know all the full history of this. I don't know his relationship with these guys, because in the video, he gets on the ground. He gets on the ground and he starts saying, he gets on the floor and says, okay. And I couldn't help but wonder when he did this. Now, this is me speculating, okay? This is just my opinion. When he was like, okay, it seemed to suggest to me that he kind of felt like this was going to happen. He kind of felt like this is going to happen. He's like, okay. Because of something that he may have said in the past that aggravated these young men, and they decided to come in and rob him in the congregation. That's just my opinion. You know, you say, okay. Everybody, okay. But another thing, let me put this out here too. The state of New York has some of the strongest gun laws in the country. In a situation like that, if someone had gotten shot, thankfully, like I said before, if someone had gotten shot, it could have been a whole lot worse if they didn't start opening fire on people who was resisting them. Because no one in the congregation is armed, it could have been terrible. Now, I want to say this, that this pastor here, and I believe the same video, Instagram or Facebook video, he stated that people like himself, and I'm paraphrasing his words, people like himself in positions of leadership should have the right to carry firearms, which suggests to me that it's much more difficult for people like himself to get firearms. And when you talk about religious belief systems, you have some pastors and some Christians that don't believe in carrying firearms. My congregation, we do. And we talked about that. And we use the Bible to substantiate our belief systems. Okay, we use the Bible to substantiate that. Okay, that's the world we're living in. I mean, people can argue it all day, back and forth, but look, that's what we believe in. We believe that. That's unfortunate. That's the time we live in. And I'm not going to go into too much detail with that. You can watch my other previous videos on that. And you can also go to my religious channel, Bible Perspective, and you can look up a video that I actually did on my belief in Christians carrying arms and why I believe that. And I use the scriptures to validate my belief in that. But suffice it to say, this situation here, you have to use proper judgment, but also doing this and acting this way in a city like Brooklyn, where has a high crime rate, is not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing to do. Proper judgment is what I want to put out here. Proper judgment calls is what we got to do. It's what this pastor should have done. But thankfully, no one got hurt. No one got shot. But it traumatized him and it traumatized his wife and the children. And let me end the video on this note. Unfortunately, you're going to see more of this kind of stuff going on. You're going to see more people coming into the churches like they don't care. Coming into the churches, causing all kinds of problems. And part of the reason for that is because of weak, soft on crime laws by leaders in position of authority who push for policies that are soft on crime. These individual mass young men, they're probably not going to get caught. Probably not going to get caught. Well, no big deal. That's the attitude that's going on. No big deal. This is a sad case this is a sad situation here. And people need to really look into this. But I just wanted to say that. I mean, this is very, very tragic, but thankfully no one got hurt. What do you guys think about this? I've given you my opinion on this. I think it's a bad lack of judgment on his part. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. God bless you all and see you again.